the playground and experience the March Madness edition. I'm so happy to say March Madness and how much it's all going all over the place. I said, you know what? I'm gonna do a double edition. We're gonna be on both of them simultaneously at the same time, just because it's just like mad hatter. So you can get us twice. If you ain't got enough of us on one, you're gonna get us on the other one too, as well. And plus, I say it's been a while since we've done this. So I say, well, let's do this for that, especially with the energies that's going on. We're getting ready for this full moon here in Virgo. And so with that, of course, I got my co-hosts. I think I jumped right on in with the March Madness. April Williams and Kathy B. You know them. They always here. So, you know.
It's a madhouse everywhere.
Right. We just keeping it down. We just keeping it down. That's all we're doing. Just keeping it down. Just keeping our head belly in our heads and just floating. Hey, hey, Sean City. So yeah, so you know, these energies have been interesting. April was kind of going in some good stuff about what was going on, so I'm gonna let her take it away with that because she hit on a lot of things that was happening with me, but I don't know if I know how to quite put it into words yet. So I'm gonna let her hit it, and then I'm gonna see what things I can steal and then add on to my stuff too.
You feel free. It is not stealing if I'm willing to give it away. And the whole thing I'm ready and willing to give away, aloha, lovely Vanessa, is March Madness. So it's who's knows. They're just gonna call this trigger season. Who's
Yes.
been ready? Who's been ready to confront everything? Who's not ready? It doesn't matter. It's happening, and we're dealing with it in real time and reapproaching it because it's very interesting. It's like I almost want to use it like in the example of a cat and like I don't know. I would say water hose, but that's not the right phrase because that would be too much for a cat. But
It's hot tin roof.
oh
A
well,
cat on a hot tin roof.
no,
Yeah.
that's
Huh?
not it exactly. That's not the phrasing. I'm just seeing this picture of a cat like tapping a dog, right? And they're tapping the dog from different directions until the dog like snaps at it, right?
Ooh.
Or it's not exactly a dog. It's something that's like something that does it naturally, like it runs water when you touch it, right? So it keeps testing it, like, does it work? Does it work? Is it happening? And then some places it doesn't actually make the, let's say, faucet run or the water run or something like that. This is the worst analogy I think I've ever given to date, but we all know because it's March Madness, it's trigger season, everything's going off, but is it really? And so we're learning to not desensitize ourselves, but to embrace the emotion in a way that it no longer hits the same, right? We've been also driving ourselves a little mad with what is the different aspects of love and being at peace, right? Because we have all these, this is my standard. My standard's way up here, by the way. It's out of the screen. This is my standard for myself. But I'm following what I feel like is here. But what my friends are telling me is like, you're really right here. You know what I mean? And maybe that's like really high, crazy standard. And yes, maybe one day you'll reach it. But that's what you have to, that's what the joy of the moment is and striving for it, because getting up here, I would probably get altitude sickness if I went straight there. You know what I'm saying? I would curl back. You know, we push and push at our triggers to kind of clear this new way for ourselves, but typically we bite off a lot more than we can chew. And so it's learning and readjusting and resetting ourselves and giving ourselves the patience to catch up with our lofty goals, right? Especially in terms of as we shake triggers. And I do think that there's a whole team out there built to trigger you. Even if you look at marketing, most marketing and media campaigns of old, they're all based to trigger pieces of you to make you want to consume or buy or all this and that. And a lot of that stuff, as divine feminines and feminines know, we numb ourselves out with like food. I know the dudes do like over sexualizing. Either of us can be addicted to drugs or alcohol or media, like distracting ourselves. This is not a no fap situation, but we do wish it was, because it depends on how we're handling our triggers and how we're coasting. And I've decided that I'm just going to allow myself to lean into it. So whenever I get triggered recently, I've been leaning into it and letting it fall apart, because it wants to hold a space to create attachment for a negative energy or entity or things that it's used to. But it's nice because my guides and my common sense are now at a point of, you no longer need that. You're just putting it down. You no longer need that. And I was able to get some Reiki sessions done this week. I know I'm second attuned. I think Kathy D's a master. Are you a master down there? This is a master. So you can book either of us for some Reiki if you want some past life stuff, because I did have some past life stuff come out too.
This is for
All right, Divine. You open the box. We're supposed to wait till after the show. My rose petals here. Who's ready for rose petals and the yoni steam? Chocolate and roses. It's all about self-care too, right? And how we go about it. Yeah, there's no monster trucks in there, dude. I didn't get you a monster truck. But did you see your diapers in?
Wow, Mal, what a segue.
It's like, that's why
What
it's
a
March
segue
Madness,
into
people. There's way too much happening back here.
Yeah, I don't see the connection with those two different subject matters there on that one. Yeah, so you all are Reiki, and then I also do energy clearing through like attachments that are housed in the body as well. And so I clear that out. So if they're attached to a person or even a trauma emotionally too. So we all have a way of clearing energy from the
Before you leave,
zapping it in different ways.
Before you leave, Vanessa, at our channel, we have a channel. I don't know if she's in on Divine Sunshine's channel or the.
I don't know which one. Yeah, she's probably on the Divine Unisouls.
Yeah, you should join our Playground Experience channel. We have a separate channel. So this is one of those rare occurrences where we're doing it at the same time. But yes, keep going. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt, but she's taking off. We love you. Bye.
Okay, love you, Vanessa. Bye. Yeah, and so yeah, I'm in agreement with you with that. It's a lot of, again, it's not rubbing you as raw, because I know even with me, I got this new thing where through my little self-therapy things where it's talking about where I journal my worries. I keep a worry diary, and so each time when I worry or I'm anxious about something, and I notice that my ratings of my numbers from a scale from 0 to 10 is starting to go down. And I'm not letting it's like, okay, whatever on the job. Okay, hey, I can't get upset. It just happened. So, I notice I'm not letting it rub me like SOS paper, like that Brillo pad like I used to. Now it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, all right, that's it. And keep it moving. The triggers, yeah, a lot of things. I know Kathy D talked about that too. I know it's beforehand. A lot of the manifestation, really trying to say, trying to do that Aries push through with that Mars trying to, and you're finding yourself where you got to kind of just like relax and let go. And spirit will kind of show you different things. I had something that kind of happened to me where I was trying to push it to manifest, and some kind of way last minute the thing shifted. It was no longer available, and I was like, what the heck? I mean, it was just right up there. Everything felt like it was in alignment. Everything was all together. When I got to the place, Ma was like, I see a white light. And the next minute I looked, and it was like, it was like the person was calling me, and I was like, this can't be real. I can't believe this. Last minute it just fell apart, and I was like, okay. So that just let me know that, hey, this is just not the time. You got to learn. It kind of threw me for a whomp. I was especially really disappointed about that. But at the same time, but I was like, I felt it saying this wasn't time. So we're learning also with the manifestation thing, where it's really an act of really surrendering it and really truly aligning. And I like how Kathy D was talking about that. I know, can you uh, about your part,
Oh yeah, I
like
can
manifestation?
unmute.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I thought that was real interesting what she said. And I said, hey, that's what happened. Why I didn't come in, and I had to kind of learn to let it go. So what were
Yeah.
you saying earlier?
Well, when we've gotten really good at where we manifest. You know, we tell the universe what we want. We're matter of fact about it. Yes, this is what we want. This is how we want it to be. You know, so we do all that. But there's another step to it. And that's, what do I need to do to receive? Because we know that it's been, you know, we'll get what we need if we're paying attention to the universe. But sometimes we are so fixated on what we're trying to manifest that we lose sight of where we need to go from step, 1 to step 5. We want to try to puddle jump. And so there are things we have to align. And so when we do that, sometimes we have to ask the universe, back to that whole make it plain, make it clear. What do I need to do to manifest XYZ? And then when you ask that, you get that answer, and you'll start seeing things flow in, because you're not going for the outcome or the process. And that's where we get tied up. We get hung up on the process of how we're going to be. We're going to get hung up on the process of union. We get hung up on the process of all that, instead of just seeing what we need and then just letting everything else flow. And by asking that question, we're focused on the outcome and not the process.
Okay. Yeah, because I even seen it. I was like, okay, I guess it depends on the certain things that you're trying to draw in. You can. The other time I did it, like with the job, I was like, okay, that's it. That's what I want. I'm just throwing it out there. I let the universe kind of like guide me. But the more you desire things, the more things you get caught up in, like you say, in the process of how things can be able to like how's it going to manifest, what I got to do, and you get hyper focused on those things, and that becomes a major problem with that. So I see I got to kind of go back to the drawing board, where it is like set the intentions, and then just wait for the angels or the guides or whatever, the team, to kind of lead us to where we need to be able to go with that. You got to be really grounded with this. I can tell it's a lot of mental things. Like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to kind of get thoughts together. It's kind of like a little floaty. And it's a little bit like, okay,
And that's what you can
grounded.
That floatiness actually is a good tool. It's light body stuff right now. There's a lot of
Okay.
light body stuff. And as we're shifting out all this excess, right, we're choosing, most of us, right, that are in alignment and going with the flow of being on our earth bodies, right? Because she's shifting, we're shifting into our highest flow and our ease of acceptance, right? Because when typically we're dealing with not getting what we want as fast as we want, because we're now in a click culture, right? We start to question and oscillate back and forth between what it is we want to
True.
manifest, right? And the
So
only
true.
reason we're doing it is this oscillation is because we're pushing it away with survival, right? We're pushing it away with triggering. And as we slow down and we embrace it, this energetic waveriness detaches you from that harsh outcome, that negative, it's this or that kind of thing, where we kind of put those limitations on the self, and we step into, okay, it's actually a whole lot of things. But what is it we really wanted again? Let's get back on that track. And so there can be a back with a, you can't, I saw myself go a little bit with the negative regular, but not, I'm good. Back to this. This is what I want, right? And so it's kind of like that spaciness is giving us as a gift, but it's also can be
Okay.
really frustrating when you want to use it as a direction, right? Because you want it and you want it now, right? But then we all know, oh, just think about the parking spot, but don't be too attached to it, and voila, it's there. But then when it's not there, and you're like, but I just said, and you're like, but you know what? oh, another one just opened up, or someone just pulled out while I was about to get angry, but I realized, oh, I have this itch on my leg. And then, oh, thank goodness, somebody's pulling out right now so I can get this decent parking spot. So we're finding that even if we are looking and wanting and getting these direct, like, spaces, things that we want, spaces, parking spaces, no, things that we want, we're actually moving in the direction of allowing just the goodness to come in, to remembering that gratefulness. Like, yes, there'll be that day when we wake up in our fully divine union and feeling that grace with every moment, and the breath that we share just on this earth, it just becomes and enlightens everyone everywhere. But at this moment, I'm just remembering to breathe. At this moment, I'm just remembering to be grateful instead of the the separation from what you are not to where you want to be, to what is actually bringing you closer to where you want to be. So Kathy D said it about it earlier, and I said, what do we need to do to receive, right? So it was, we need that foreplay. A lot of people feel like they have to work really hard to get money, or they need to, it has to be some kind of crazy romantic relationship for them to be in love, or it's got to show up in this way and that way. And in reality, once we start to vibrate ourselves in the right position, boy, you better put my pedals down. Once you start to vibrate in the right position, you allow yourself to receive it, so you don't push it away so quickly. Same thing with, you're in the vibration to get the parking spot, but then you get angry. Like, let's say you fell into the anger, you could start, oh, why isn't it here? Da, da, da. You're missing the space to actually enjoy the opportunity that's coming before you. And sometimes because you're busy lamenting, Aole, right now, I'm recording, you know that you have plenty of things to do. So instead of lamenting and separating from it, because sometimes you actually miss that opportunity, right? You miss that spot because you're too busy complaining about the fact that there wasn't a spot when there was one opening up, but the other person aligned themselves for it. So we need that foreplay. We need that space where we're stepping into receiving, so that we can receive it and hold on to it, instead of it's about to come to us, but then we push it away because of XYZ. And it can be any number of things that you're manifesting that are in its state of alignment for you, but are you ready and willing and able and open to hold that, right? And maintain that and sustain that. And that's kind of where that spaciness gives you the gift of doing it, as it detaches you from, I guess, ego. Is that, I mean, ego is
I
good
guess
for
it's
certain
so. Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's good for certain things, but in that case, if I used it in that instance, it would be like, okay, somebody's yelling at me, right? And instead of me feeling like I need to defend myself, I'm going to detach from that and realize this person is yelling because they clearly have some other issue that they're actually trying to express. Because anybody knows that when you're having an argument, it doesn't actually lead to conflict resolution in any way. Nobody's going to be the winner out of that. Both people are going to end up being frustrated, or one person is just going to be quiet and their stuff's going to be held in and they're not going to be able to be received. The other person who's yelling is no longer being received because they have created a wall between the two people in that communication. And so in that sense, your ego is now saying, okay, I'm no longer going to take this on as if I'm the bad person, or this is the wrong situation, or, I'm just going to take this as a space to say their inner child might be hurting, because everybody's being triggered right now heavily. And it's really funny because people are looking for buttons to press. It's like, why you do that? Why did you do that? I said don't do that. My whole life, that phrase makes me go from zero to cuckoo Coke for Cocoa Puffs.
Go,
You're gonna use
pups.
that one phrase? Like the stranger out of nowhere, you're gonna use that one phrase? Oh, this is what you got, jokes, universe. You got tests. Okay. But it's a beautiful space for us to grow from. It's a beautiful space for us to detach and receive from. And so I like to receive in pleasure. So I've been working on ways of pleasure that aren't counterintuitive to my health, right? Like, I like delicious, beautiful food, but that doesn't mean I should eat it at all hours of the night. Right? So I've been curbing off my night eating. My what happened to my dream? Comfort me. So it's been really fun. It's been a fun one. Anybody else? Who else has got some vices in the chat? Who wants to share their drama?
Say your drama for your mama. I was right.
Well, and here's the other thing that we're running into with the triggers is because as we are in our space of knowing, we know what we know, what we know, and we all know that. And when we have that as a realization and we understand it, that that's where we are, that's what we're doing, and everything is aligning. It's aligning with soul union, however it's aligning, but it's aligning. And then we have to sit back and be vulnerable. We have to sit back and let the universe step in and do their thing. And this is, we all complained at the beginning about divine timing. Oh, everybody hated divine timing. If I had another reading that said, wait for divine timing, I was going to like set the cards on fire. But here's the thing. Now that we know what we know, what we know, and we believe what we believe, what we believe, we know we're in control of our reality. So we know it's coming to fruition. Now's when we're waiting on divine timing. Now is when we are, okay, universe, I've done everything. I've asked my questions. How do I get? What do I need to do? I've stepped out of my own way. I've stepped out of your way. Okay, now it's up to you. And I wait. And not in a bad way. I don't like stop. There's a difference. I don't stop. I'm not standing still. I'm not holding a place anymore. Now it's like, okay, when all the stars align, when everything is what we need it to be, that's exactly when it will happen. And when you're in that state or that like train of thought, you start seeing all these little, and they probably wouldn't even to a normal person, unless you've been on this journey a while, you wouldn't notice that they're little miracles. Just phrasing, little things that are said, recognizing the repeating. The DM and I have had the issues this week with, we're joking about everybody eavesdropping on our conversation, which, people that had no privy to our conversation will then start talking about what we were talking about or using phrases. So we've all had, so we're running into a lot of this. We're like, okay. And it's almost as if to let us know the universe is listening. We're listening, we're hearing, we know what you're saying. And as that happens, the positivity is getting so much stronger that it's not always me saying, this is going to happen. This is going to be, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. He's really stepped up and said, we're going to do this. Yeah, this is us. We're going to do this. Yes, we're going to do this. Like those poor people in the convenience store from a couple weeks ago. Now he's doing that, and not only to the people in the convenience store, but to, friends and things like that of ours, and really specifying. And then Bonita has had the same thing going on. I've also seen where they talk about the collective, we know that we're going to be being triggered and things like that. Really and truly, that was actually Bonita and I more last week than as much this week, because this week, as I would be triggered, I brought in the idea that I am in control of my reality. So instead of thinking, oh, well, he'll never, this won't ever happen, I started really kind of examining those thoughts. And so when the negativity came in, I'd ask myself, where do I feel it in my body? Does it feel light or does it feel heavy? And if it felt heavy, why was it? And that's something that truth feels light, a lie or deceit feels heavy. So you can say to yourself, like for me, I can say, I have a male body and I feel it in my shoulders. It's like a pressure because that's not my truth. You can say your name. I don't care if you hate your name. But if I say my name is Susan, there's nothing that really changes. But when I say my name is Kathy, I've done nothing to my voice, but that's the energy that flows through. That's the truth. So that truth is known.
Try it right now. Just try it right now.
Yeah,
Those of you
everybody
watching,
try it.
just try it.
Use a phony name
I was trying.
and say,
I was trying.
and then what? Hold on, I have a child. I'm in the car, so hold on one moment.
It's a really
almost
cool
like using your
exercise.
body like a pendulum. It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
using your
That's
own body as
exactly
a
what I.
pendulum.
That's
Because
how
you
I
can tell,
tested
like the
myself.
pendulum gets to shaking, and then it might like yes, it might no, yes, no, like pendulum, it get all that vibration when it does, but when it's a false answer, it stops shaking. It just say other ones. So that's the same thing. You use it with your body too as a tool, a divining tool.
Well, and the other thing that we can do, if you're not sure about all these things, like, all of the divining tools and stuff like that, just use a deck of cards face down, and it'll be like the next card will be red, the next card will be black. And you just start testing yourself on it. And the better you get at it, the easier it is for the truth to come in. Most of the time with us, we don't want the truth. We're scared of the truth. Because of whatever has happened.
Because we can't handle the truth. Stop the insanity.
Well, we've had our families have, or in some way, shape, or form, they've either held a story about infidelity or hidden money or family issues. We got to keep everything hidden. We don't, parade our crazy around. All these different things that we've learned to do. Act like, think about it. I know for me, and especially growing up in South Carolina, the second part of like my teenage years, to be told to act like a lady was almost a daily occurrence. And so, i.e. saying, don't act like a tomboy, don't be rough around the edges, don't be yourself, act like a lady. And so we play these games all the time. And just even saying that is heavy on me to hear that, act like a lady. Well, excuse me, can we talk about, all the different ladies that we have come in contact with or we've had in history? One of my favorite biographies I've ever read was Golda Meir. And she was one of the first women to wear pants in Parliament. I mean, she went in there to be a force to be reckoned with. And to most people's definition, she didn't act like what they said a lady should. It felt right to her. She was her type of lady. And so that's where we have to find our own truth, and we have to, rewrite these stories that our parents told, rewrite these stories of the things that we repeated. If there was, maybe you had a parent that was caught up in either an addiction or a workaholic, or, it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, but it was kept quiet. We just didn't talk about it, kind of like that little movie Encanto, we don't talk about Bruno, but,
right.
So, but the thing is, then you find the things that you do in your life that you keep kind of hidden to be able to meet your needs, but we keep it hidden. And, unfortunately, in this day and age, one of the things we do is infidelity. And, so that's kept hidden. And so we have to not only allow ourselves to accept the truth, but allow ourselves to understand the truth. And that's a really big thing right now. So as we sit in this, hold please, as the universe is just, getting everything, because we're moving faster, we're speeding up. And the universe is like, okay, got a few more things to move around. Hold please. You know, it's just like, you know, little kid. Is dinner ready yet? Is it time to eat? Is it supper ready? Can we eat now? Can we eat now? Would you just wait a minute? I got things on the table. Just wait a minute. Wait a minute. And that's kind of where we are right now with the universe. As we've come in and we've dialed these things in and we've learned to ask, all right, what do I need to do? And they've told us and we followed it. That now they're moving, you know, the things in place, but it's one of those, hold please, just give me a sec, hold please. And we have to allow that divine timing to come in. And this divine timing isn't as horrible, I can say, as the original divine timing, as we all know. And for people that don't know, divine timing is the universe's time. Everything happens when it needs to happen. And so when we say, you know, this divine timing, when you're waiting for your DM to show back up, to call, to whatever, oh, it'll happen in divine timing. Really? I wanted to blow up divine timing. You know, let me find a little wizard that's running divine timing and I'm going to get him. Because that was horrible. That was because we didn't have an understanding of it. You know, divine timing was this magical little fairy or star or ray of light from, you know, heaven that came down and haphazardly touched you. And then everything was perfect. That's not divine timing. Divine timing is when everything falls into place. And so we have to be ready with, as these triggers happen, we have to also understand that some of that's divine timing because we're knocking off those last bits of sludge. We're clearing out a lot more of the past life stuff. Also, with all of this going on, another thing I highly recommend, and I would highly recommend either of these two ladies. And we have plenty of other friends listed on this thumbnail that do wonderful job with energy healing and clearing and stuff. Right now, you need to do that. And if you are in communication with the DM, find out if it's all right. And usually 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, heck yeah, bring it on, you know, clear me up, clear me out, whatever. Let's, you know, move this thing forward. So,
and it's nice when they work with you.
Yes, right? Definitely.
Because when you clear, right, you pull out things, things come back in for triggering. Right? So that's the thing. So once they're aware that you're clearing and you make that conscious connection, they get triggered, you may get triggered. Don't take their triggers from them. Let them go through their little bitty tower moments and stuff that they have to. Because not a tower doesn't always have to be bad or intense. No. A tower moment is just it's like a trigger amplified and you're able to view it. Right? So that's a good one.
Yep. Well, and 2 right now, I have seen that the mirroring, we for so long, a lot of times, felt that we mirrored more than like they followed our mirroring. And now as it switches around and we followed their mirroring, they're getting all of that. I'm really exhausted. I'm just really tired. I just need sleep. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just want to lay here. And we're like, oh, hey, I feel great. This is wonderful. And I've kind of come to understand that the tiredness was we were sending out so much energy subconsciously to protect them because we knew what we just walked through. You know, and it's kind of like you do with a small child. Don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove. So what do? We stand there like a goalie for hockey, you know, blocking the oven. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Here I am. I mean, don't touch it. You know, I got you, you know, and taking all these slap shots. And we were doing that for them. And now they're doing it for us. And they're slowly understanding what they're doing, but not yet. And we have to let them go through that because we had to go through it.
Oh, wow.
So when they're pulling back, and I'll also tell you that one other thing before I walk back in the house, and it's going to be like I'm walking through a ray of golden light, so it looks like I'm crossing over to the other side, is so many more of so many more of our gifts are coming online. like light language. Never was able to do it, never could, never really thought about it until today. And I was talking to Bonita, and I just started making kind of these odd noises. And then it dawned on me that was my light language. And I was like, oh my gosh, do you know what that just was? Oh, and I was flipping out at it, but I had gotten to the point where I understood the truth. I understood my gifts and are understanding them. We can't really ever say, I think we understood them all, because they're always evolving. As we grow as a person, as we grow as a soul, so are they. And so I'm kind of understanding, not understood, but what is happening. And as I do that, the universe is like, okay, now you're ready for this. Now you're ready for this. Now you're ready for this. And we have to, like April say, embrace these triggers and get through them to get to the other side. And with that, I'm going to go inside, and I will see you all in a moment.
I really would have loved to see that golden light. I mean, she should have let us see that. That would probably look really cool. Just let us watch you bask in the rays of Christos energy. Let us, oh, wow. Oh, she's beautiful. From heaven above, God must
It's blinding me.
descend.
No,
Spend
I'm
a
blinded
little
by
more
the light. I'm
time on
blind.
you, on you, on you, on you.
Yeah,
No,
but
but
Spirit brought me kind of something about when you talk about the timing, and it brought me a motor, and it was saying about the timing belt. You said that we think that about timing is like, again, not about that linear, that thing where humans, where we think that it's about, again, a clock on the wall. They say the timing is almost, and I don't know about cars and stuff, but the timing is like a timing belt. It holds it all together so that everything can function and flow together at the same time. So again, like Kathy D said, if you're not in the same right frame of mind, guess what? You're going to throw the timing off of your motor, which is going to help you to be able to create that movement. If you have this piece, this person's not cooperating, or you're there too early, the people are not ready to receive you at that job, or you're at this house and things is not flowing, your money's not right to be able to maintain that house, you're going to throw off the timing. That means the energy, the movement, the momentum. That's what it means off. It's not about a timing like it's going to happen November the 19th at 2:59 p.m. on such and such date at this location. That's not what it's all about. It's about, again, a ease and flow, just like a pendulum of each striking of how it goes back and forth, and how that is helping to create what it is, the momentum of it all. Not time, not chronological like Father Time. Is the momentum and the flow of all things. Everything is about energy. Everything is about flow. It's about that again, and keep it in a linear flow. So that's what they're saying that is about. That's what they show me. I'm like a timing bill. I'm seeing them showing me like that scene from Grease Lightning. Go Grease Lightning, go Grease Lightning. And they got the little motor coming down and putting it in. So that's what
I never knew
divine
how dirty
timing
that
is.
song was till I was in my 30s.
Yes, you the one that schooled me on that. I was like, what? I thought it was just about a motor in high school.
I'm open to taking a side to talk about how Grease Lightning is dirty, because I'm still in the dark.
Yeah, I guess the whole motor running, the act of it, and being wet. So I guess all that together.
All I can hear is not Grease Lightning, but get your motor running.
Yeah,
head
right.
out on the highway.
Yeah,
looking for adventure.
Yeah.
Whatever comes my way.
My way.
Born
Yeah.
to be wild. Yeah. So where is it that you're wild? Where is it that you're free? Where is it that you're finding yourself in that inner child play space? Right. So one of the things is I was in the beach before I came today, and I worked really hard to get back here on time so I could on time. We changed it like 3 times, but that's beside the point. It works hard to get back here.
The
Okay.
universe say it ain't nothing but timing. It's when I show up. That's what it said. Okay, go on.
But the things that make time pass quickly, right, is actually creating newer experiences, new feelings, like having fun. So, swimming is actually complicated if you're not good at it, right? And I'm not the greatest, but I'm getting better. And my friend brought her snorkel, and she was there so she could watch my son on the side, and she let me try the snorkel for a little bit, and the time just was gone because it's just so fun. It's so easy to do. It's a new experience. It's a new place. You're stretching and moving your body. I'm like feeling the muscles I haven't felt move in a long time. And I'm just like loving it. And I realized that it's the timing goes so quickly when you're having fun, when you're enjoying this adventure that you call life, when you really just tap into that fun part of your childhood, or that part that gives you wonder, that awe, that grace. So, one way to make time go faster is to actually enjoy it. And it's a little tragic. I think about that too. Like, why is it that so many of us have put separation in the ideas of separation involved in the process? And I think it's so that it lasts so long, so that life lasts so long, right? Because once you fall into those arms of the divine, of the counterpart, and you balance, then it seems like things go by so quickly. Like, how is it that children, you blink one day, they're 3, you blink, they're 7, you blink, they're suddenly graduating high school, and you're like, wait a minute, where did the time go? Because everything was new, everything was stretching you, everything was challenging your experience so that you can become anew, as well as making a new space for another being that you actually can't control at all, but you can guide, and you're doing your best to be the best guide. Right. So that part of life seems fast, but it's that part where you feel disconnected that lasts forever. Right. We love to torture ourselves. Orgasms don't last as long as not orgasms, So, but if you have
the struggle is real.
If you choose a more tantric lifestyle, right? Tantra isn't just about sex, it's about how you see and enjoy the world, how you take in the beauty that's around you, the relationships, just your connection with yourself and your environment, learning to love being in your body, learning to love your body, learning to love your ways of thinking, your creativity, your innovativeness, your weirdness, right? Because so many people are afraid to let their freak flag fly. But what happens is, what? This is a freaky journey. We're all in the freakiness. And so people really do. They freeze. They freeze their gifts. They stop their listening to themselves in order to feel like they're part of this group or feel connected. When in reality, we are all connected anyway, right? Just we are. We need to learn to connect with our individuality. We're so wanting that other person to become the oneness, but in reality, once we become the oneness with ourselves, that's when we really start to enjoy and savor and that time until that full 100% unity. I don't know. I feel like I flit in and out of it all the time. Like the energetics of the person is always with. But then there's those times where it's like, I'm so alone. It's so cold.
Yeah.
I mean, I made it a little dramatic, but it's really like
no, sometimes the highs and lows is like that. It really is. You can feel them like I'm at one. I can just feel them, taste them. They right here. I brush my teeth. They're brushing their teeth. We're brushing our teeth. It's us. And then you have some days it's like, oh my God, all by myself. All by myself in the room. So sometimes we have days like that. So, So
oh
you're
man, I
right.
wish
It
I could
does. It
find
does
that little
that.
scene from SpongeBob. It was so funny. SpongeBob and Squidward. I guess Squidward ends up, they make a time machine or something, and he gets stuck in like
Okay.
space or time in between, and he's just like, I'm alone, 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 alone. It's really the funniest scene. But we're talking
Yeah.
about having fun makes the time pass. What time is
Yes.
relative?
Find your
Yeah, but
joy. I mean, there have been hundreds of, life coaches, psychologists, psychiatrists, everybody. Find your joy. Find ministers, find your joy. I wish I could have said I coined that phrase, but that is so true. Once you find your joy, you find that raw passion where you can say, hey, like for me, it was my teaching job. If I get to do this for a year, wow, this was great. If I get to do it for 10 years, that's fantastic. But I am just living the here and now, and I am just loving it. Once you get to that point where you can be like that with so many things, and you start to see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and it's not a train, you start to see that joy comes in. And when that joy is there and you elevate and you lift your energy to that point, it really is just not even an issue anymore. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at her frozen, and then she's not frozen, and now she's like, she's cracking me up. I tend to find joy in the oddest of things, and I like.
And I think that's the best. That is the absolute best. You should be able to find joy in crazy things, and really and truly, because that's it. That's like letting those little miracles in. I have
and you will be
students.
tested.
Yes.
So don't
I
troll
have
the internet, because
students.
you will find pictures of your ex with, even though the one you're not supposed to be with them. You'll find pictures of your ex making out with somebody new, and it'll be like, wow, a trigger moment. But you know what? Bless their hearts.
One of those lovely Southern phrases. Oh, bless their heart. God love them. Yeah, no, we're just saying because they're so stupid, But
Well,
yeah.
ignorance is bliss, so let them be blissful until. I saw this mug today that said "Token Jew on Christmas," and I was like, "That's how I feel right now." Like everybody's finding out Santa's not real, and I'm the token Jew on Christmas. Like, I don't even know why they told you that. Who done told you Santa was real? But everybody loves a present. What can I say?
Some poor people having to pull over now. They just, if they were driving, they don't know how to handle the fact that Santa's not real. So, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Some people are watching with their kids and stuff. Stop lying to your children. It's interesting, the lies that we condone for ourselves, right? Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not, these are like the basic ones that people have a difficult time weeding out because they're spending so much time looking outward or for some kind of external clearing and validation, right? And we know that that is not what is going to actually find you sustainable love and continuity with your purpose. And so you have to get to a point where you keep going through and keep releasing the parts that are holding you back, and, you know, breathe. Remember, you are here, you are of value. You are the reason may not be known to you, may not be known to your family, but nobody can define you but you. So as you're stepping into that higher Christos self and it starts to come in more continuously, you will allow yourself to experience more joy, more happiness, more lightheartedness. And it may seem like, oh, she's just so silly or something. I don't know how serious people are. Some people are real serious, right? They take everything super serious. But I like to enjoy my life in the way I did as a child, and how I'd like my child's life to, I am cultivating their life to be. And that's with not too much attachment, but also a lot of joy and love, and, willingness to like just share what knowledge, what love I have, what time I have. Sometimes people just want to be heard, and accepting that maybe that's my role for the moment, because I'm also an actress. Right? That brings me joy, is playing and having fun. And I think, a lot of the practices I did before, they allowed me to be more whimsical, more childlike. And that steps you into the vibration you actually want to maintain for the rest of your days. And
Mhm.
that's when you start calling in your other playmates and your soul fam. So if you're feeling isolated, just do your best to find joy. Do your best to breathe into those moments of uncomfortability and know that they will pass. But also see what they're bringing you, right? Because there's a gift in it, even if it doesn't always feel like it.
It's interesting because you're talking about calling in your soul family and your playmates and your, for me, my partner in crime. I put a post up on Facebook, and it was a little bit of a psychological experiment. But it said, things go together like coffee and a Sunday morning, a dark sky, a night sky and stars, and you and me. And then I put at the top, my comment to that was, nothing more needs to be said, or nothing more needed to say. And I just put it out. Now, we follow each other on Facebook. We're on Facebook. I have, a lot of other friends, they liked it, they hearted it, nothing. We got that. We understand that nothing more needs to be said. People that are not to that joy level, that don't understand that you can find joy in a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning, or a single star in the night sky, or just spending time with a person and being yourself, that it doesn't have to have a label, it doesn't have to have a title. But the ones that don't understand that are the ones, oh, give me all the dirt. Tell me, what does this mean? Who is it? Who's this new person? Who's this, why does it have to be a new person? Why can't it just be, we've come into a new state. We're in another dimension that we've awoken. Why does it have to be a different person? Why do we have to change our our partners in crime or whatever to fit that? Well, they're in this box and now they can't move to this box. But it was quite fascinating, the people that commented on that going, oh, you got a new person? You got a new guy? You got and it's funny because then as I talked to other people that were more in the spiritual community, they were like, well, you could have been talking about us. I could have been talking about, April and I. I mean, there wasn't anything
We do have
set.
a good time.
We do have a good time. And that's the thing. There wasn't anything else in it. There wasn't anything sexual. There wasn't anything. It just said, you go together like, and you find that joy in. But the people that aren't there yet, that aren't awoken yet, are the ones that are, asking a million and one questions. And then you just have fun with it. But it's interesting to see that it's becoming very, very evident
Weird.
who is not awoken yet. It's becoming very clear.
And the thing is, it's interesting because you will know whether it is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
That's
You
right.
can show somebody all the wokeness in the world, but will they wake up? And then which stage of the allegory of the cave are they in anyway? So what are they waking up to? Right? Because a lot of people in a state of fight or flight, right? You're going through reptilian brain type stuff, and you're like, survival. Then you're starting to think, well, me and my immediate family. Then you're starting to think outside of that family, the society and groups that we're in, right? And then you start to think the world as a whole. I actually had this moment today where I was able to release an attachment, but also felt a lot of sorrow for the world because
Mm-hmm.
society has built it in such a way that people are not have we have to have this conversation. We have to have that you're not being your authentic self right now. We have to have that you're having superficial agreements, or you're perpetuating a negative kind of concept or construct that you actually don't want to be perpetuating. So, can we talk about that yet? Are you ready to hear it without that huge blow to your ego? I mean, if you look at an artist typically that has gone through mainstream radio or something like that, you look at the evolution of the artist and what it is that they're singing about or writing about. And typically it goes from kind of a superficial, like, I got this, I got that, look at me, like I'm flashy, I'm doing all these things, to I'm now seeing that the world needs help. I'm now seeing that things aren't working out the way that they really could be. I'm seeing that we have a lot of potential and growth that we can now foster together. And you can see that in almost every single artist. I mean, even with Michael Jackson's The World album, that was coming towards one of his last albums. But in reality, that's what is still kind of currently happening. We're still transitioning into we're caring about each other. Like, I finally got that Sinead O'Connor Stop the Insanity thing. And I was like, oh, I feel like that could make a comeback. Like right now, that would make a lot of sense. Right. But it's been here the whole time. We just didn't see it. And I remember a lot of people saying, oh, she's absolutely nuts, all this stuff. But that's what's happening is we're now saying all these things that were nuts or conspiracies or this or that. They're actually turning out to be factual. They're actually turning out to be something that we can now have a conversation about. We can now look at, we can now talk about without feeling that we're so weird that we'll be what, ostracized from society. Well, give me about 2 to 3 days, and even if I'm ostracized in my community, I can bet you I could find myself an online one, thankfully. So you can either use it as an isolation or a reason to find your people, or a reason to attract your people too, right? Because we're working with that feminine aspect of attraction and magnetism. And that's what joy does. It brings your people, brings your people.
High vibration always attracts better things to you, material, people, places, or things. So joy is the route to go.
Oh yeah, and the higher your vibration, I've noticed this week my vibration has been really high, and I mean I have wonderful students. I love my kiddos, but this one student has brought me lunch. His family owns a restaurant, and for 2 days now. So the first day he brought homemade tacos, and like right down to the corn tortilla was homemade. The whole night. Oh, they were the most amazing tacos. I was taking pictures. I was sending them. I was like, yeah, it's my lunch. Yeah. And then today
Turning
I
into a
got,
jellyfish. Uh-oh.
yes. And then today I got homemade tamales.
Oh,
And I was like, and I was kidding him. I'm like, honey, you're a senior. You have an A in this class. You don't need to bring this, you no bribes necessary. And he said, Miss, I know that. He goes, but you are one of my favorite teachers. He said, you're so real with us. He goes, you share so much of yourself with us. He said, I wanted to share some of my family love with you.
Oh, what a
And
sweetheart.
I was like, oh my gosh. And these kids are, talking about the move and stuff because they know that kind of, that's going on, because they'll tell me, oh man, my life is hell at home. And I'm like, really? You want to compare some stories? We can talk. And, I'll say that. And then they'll come up to me and they'll be like, well, Miss, what's going on with you? And I'm like, I'm human. I mean, these kids are literally some of them in 4 years are going to be out in the real world, and some in just a few weeks. And I'm like, you know what, this is what's going on, you know? And they're like, oh, wow. And so when the day comes to move, I think I'm going to have half of the football team here to help me, you know, and they've all taken great pride in the fact of being able to walk in and look at my roommate and be like, yeah, And they've all got their slick comments they want to make. But, you know, it's just when you raise that vibration, you raise that joy. I mean, these are kids that didn't want any part of art. They just needed it to graduate. And I've made it where they, you know what, they probably will never pick up another paintbrush after they leave my classroom unless they have to paint a wall or something. But they at least will understand it. They'll at least be able to, when they see a watercolor painting, be able to say, you know, I hated that in high school, but I did it. And you know what I learned about it was this, or an acrylic painting, or a watercolor pencil drawing, or drawing of features, you know. But it's that joy that of just sharing it with them. No, not having any expectations, not having any of those expectations, not expecting, I don't expect these kids to be Picasso. And there's some that have quite a good bit of talent that they never even knew they had. But nobody took the time to say, hey, let's just play with this. Let's see what happens.
And I really want to point out that she's talking about high vibration and realism, right? Real, being real. That's the highest vibration you can be. And even if you're going through a process that isn't necessarily what the love and light workers would call high vibrational, it's actually high vibrational to express your anger, your sorrow, to release emotions instead of suppressing them and denying them and saying that it's something that it's not, right? Because you have to actually process sorrow and anger and all of these things, or regret, or whatever is coming up, in order to have room to sustain the vibration you're actually going after, right? And I'm not saying continuously go over the same negative space, but creating more space by going through and processing completely an emotion. And if that thing or that storyline comes up again, guess what? You get to process it faster, or you get to process it, and the universe will give you tools and people and signs to help you process it faster and faster, to the point where you get that spaciness where you're like, I'm no longer attached to this the way I was. What does that mean about me as an identity, as a person, right? Because we form a relationship with our stories as a form of who we are and our consciousness, but that's not necessarily who we are or our consciousness. It's an experience that we had that's molding our character, right? So what's our adventure truly hold? It holds this huge light, this huge next coming of space. Now we just get to step into it. And that's the beauty of it. I'm very excited. I feel it, but then sometimes I don't, right? All by myself. Just kidding.
Well, and we have to learn to release. And release, I know early on to me sounded like so scary. And it just really, to those of you that are new or been through anything traumatic, the idea of releasing something that gave you joy is probably the scariest thing you could think of. Because in a way, we think that we'll never be happy again. And there's a couple things we have to learn there. One, happiness comes from within. Another person, we can be happy with that person, but they're not our happiness. It works same thing with joy. And then that saying, and I didn't understand it until really recently, that whole, if you love something and you let it go, and if it comes back to you, it was meant to be. Well, if that isn't twin flame separation, I don't know what is. But you have to release that, because once you start coming into that soul union and that kind of connection, you lose that fear. As that energy comes in, that joy comes in and is in you, it's almost as if it's like the little Play-Doh things, you know, where you put the Play-Doh in and it squishes it out, you know, makes like pasta and all the little noodles and stuff. But it takes that fear and it pushes it out, because you know You know that you're in control of your reality. You know what you know. And so as all that little stuff is pushed out, the attachment isn't as much there. It's not that you have any less feelings for them, but that feeling, you know, if they're gone, isn't there. You know, you start to see that, well, one, you know they're going to be there, and two, after everything I think most of us have seen in these kind of relationships, when they go, they come back. They're always coming back. And we have to be like, okay, go, you know, whatever you have to do, because they do. And we
Yeah.
have to learn to release.
Yeah, that's a very, very scary place to be. I would say definitely if you're having like childhood or attachment things that you are kind of dealing with and you're having issues with, that's something that you got to kind of do a lot of work with self. You just been
Mm-hmm.
work with self. You've got to really kind of grow to that, and that's not something automatic that it'd be like overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Like woo, voila, it's going to happen. That's something that you've got to really get yourself into that headspace and be comfortable in it that you are in that. I think that's kind of where I am now at that. And some days, you know, yeah, you do have those moments again. We have to remember again that we're human. I got a new thing from I think it's James Ron Prague, and he said you got to remember again. We always said that Earth, we asked to come here because we wanted to learn, and I've always said this is a teachable planet. But he said that also Earth is a rehab. A lot of us are coming here to go work our issues out too as well, and to come to get healed. So we work with the addictions or the I need or the codependencies and things of that sort, so we can kind of get it out of our system. So you know that's something that we have to also be again. I think a lot of us, like I said, we have to understand again that statement that we always say, that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and that is something that we're learning, which means we're mastering how to be able to balance both of those two things and not to be so hard on ourselves. I think that we still, and I say that there a lot of times we're looking for something to be so magically delicious in a nanosecond, but it's a process to it. And you know, and again, if we look at it again, that's what we asked to be here, so we can be able to learn. And so it's going to take some time for us to do that. But like you said, that with the divine masculine, you know, I think this time maybe I might have called on the separation myself. And it's not really separation. It's just at the point that it's just like, okay, you know what? It's an ease and a flow of how it goes together. Now, you would have asked me 5 years to do that. Oh my God, I've been shaking and quaking. I can't do that. I can't do that because he really go. I ain't gonna never hear from him ever again. Jesus, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like okay, and he calls and we talk, and it's like okay, and he drifts back off again, and I drift back off to my corner and whatever. And so again, it's that understanding. The thing is, I got a new way of looking at it. It's not more so of a relationship, how we relate to each other, is that we connected. And it's like, you know, like a hawk that was always told me, you know, hawk, you could throw them out there and let them fly, and they always return back to you. And so that's the same thing, just like with your divine counterpart. That's going to happen. And then once you get that and understanding that we have a connection, you feel them, that's it. You know, I don't know what it's going to turn out to be. It's a day by day process.
Okay, you need to go wipe your face off.
I'm not going to label it anything. It's easier for you to be able to, you know, to be able to be in that ease of flow or wait on that so-called divine timing where everything comes together and it fits together and it's all meshing all together in the working for our highest good, and not like a time or a date that it's going to actually happen. So that is that's where we are on that. You in agreement with that?
I'm in agreement with that.
I look at my baby. She's like, yeah, I'm in agreement with that, Mama.
It's a lot of sinks right now. Yeah, I'm having a lot of like Kundalini energy rising up, so I think we should. Well, she needs to come back so we can cut it up. Cut.
It looks just like me.
Exit. I suppose. I'm like, let me look closer. I mean,
It looks just like me.
she looks kind of like your hair. More so than you. I say that you did. You're both very cute. You're both very cute.
That's right. That's what you take that to be. So our birthday will be coming up real soon. All right. Oh, there we go. All right then. So we're gonna close out. Thank you so very much. I see we got some newness here. They came here, how you say, vibrate.
The Vibrary. I really like that name. That's pretty cool.
Vibrary.
And the Vibrarian.
Right.
It's all good vibes all the
Like
time.
that. I'm a
Even
vibrarian.
when it
What that
doesn't
mean?
feel
I
good.
believe in love and light and vibration. Good vibrations. That's what I am. Yes. And everybody else who came on here too as well. Anything else on the playground? Anything else? Anything new stuff?
I mean, I started my program on the 14th of next month. So it's about a month before I start the Yummy Yoni program. Starting all of the stuff today. So if you've got the book, check it out and get ready for some fun growth and shedding experiences. The stuff I'm working on right now is super heavy. And if you step in it wholeheartedly, it makes everything else easier. So be gentle with yourself, love yourself, and check out the Yummy Yoni program on my channel. I'll be announcing it soon. Golden Life Unlimited. Yeah, that's it.
The
And
Yoni's channel, the Yoni channel.
the Yummy Yoni program. That's actually a reprogram.
Oh, okay. I don't know where I heard the Yummy Yoni.
Okay, I'll check you out.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right there. Okay, look for invites to my podcast. All right, Vibrary.
I really like that name though, the Vibrarian. So classic. It's super classic.
I do. It's got good energy. Got good energy. But she would pick that, right? Because she's a Vibrarian. Boom, boom. All right.
Hey, Mimi, we love you.
Oh, okay. She said,
you guys are on the. Oh, don't forget to join the Playground Experience. She has her own channel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you was out. Okay, grocery shop. All right, but you was listening. All right. Yeah. So this is the same thing. So for the month of March, we're gonna have both ways. We go both ways. For the month. No. I talk about spiritually channel wise. That's what I'm talking about. But we do go both ways, energy wise, divine feminine and divine masculine. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So you'll catch us on both of this for the month of March, doing something new. Not new. So this kind of changing up the vibes too as well. Okay, thank you. I love my kisses. And let's see. Catch me. I'm doing my journaling thing too as well on Divine Unisouls 11, and that's pretty much I'm plugging on that. Because I do have a podcast too as well, but that's Divine Speaking Unplugged too as well. But that's one main thing I want is that.
Follow that link that I just posted for you guys. For those of you who don't know about the Playground Experiences direct channel.
Thank you.
Love you.
Yes. All right, get us on out of here.
All right, well, empty the virtual sand out of your shoes and socks. Make sure you get your own sand buckets and pails and shovels. Clean up all your virtual trash around the sandbox, and we'll see you real soon. Wishing you your best life ever.
All right.
Stay blessed, stay golden, and remember, you were made for this golden life.
All right there. And as always, stay uplifted, stay motivated, stay ascended. Namaste, Namago. I have to look at you to find out what I had to say. Bye. All right there. Till next time.